Strong narrative writing means planning, and it means logically sequenced events. Here's the story map we'll use to organize our own planning for narrative writing. Here's how it works. You got two columns, one on the left that says events. These will capture the major events throughout the story. The column on the right, you know SLATE, that stands for characterization, speech, looks, actions, thoughts, and effects on others. You'll capture characterization on the right. So just to take you through it really quick, row by row, you see the BME. You probably already figured that stands for beginning, middle, and end. At the beginning, we're going to be capturing the exposition. This has three elements: setting, characters, conflicts. The exposition, it's basically telling you what the story is about. It gives you a sense for the topic or the subject. And you get the setting, characters, and conflict. That'll make up your exposition. So setting is where and when your story takes place. Characters, just jot down the names of the main characters you've seen. And conflict, that's the big problem. You'll write down the initial conflict at the beginning of the story. These three elements represent your exposition and capture the rising action of your story. On the right side, you'll put down characterization or SLATE notes for any main characters. You should only do, maybe 2 characters. You shouldn't be doing a lot, just a couple quick notes. You do not need evidence, just a quick note for their characterization. In the middle right here, this will reflect the turning point. We've spoken about that. That means the climax of the story. It's the big event or decision that changes the story. On the right, you only need to put down more characterization if your characters are changing. So maybe at the turning point, one of your characters changes. You should reflect that here. But if another main character does not change, there's no need to write anything for them right here. Then in the end box is where you put the resolution. This comes at the end of the story. How is the conflict addressed? Put that here. Any characterization change you put here. And then finally, in this last row, you put the theme. Again, the theme, it's the universal message. You ask yourself, what lesson does the author want the reader to learn? To consider this, review your main notes. What was the conflict and how was it addressed? How have the characters changed? And through those big ideas, what message is the author trying to tell me? What universal message? You write it here. Last I'll show you is an example of this, a full table based off the giver. Here's a story map. At the beginning, I put down the setting, where and when it takes place. We don't really know much about the setting. The main characters, and the conflict at the beginning. Jonas is named the receiver of memory, but he begins to kind of question his own society. I've put down characterization notes for Jonas and the giver, just 2 main characters, and I capitalize the letters in SLATE that reflect my ideas. Middle, here's the turning point, right? When he witnessed what releasing means, he's horrified and he plans to escape the community. That's the turning point. It was the big change in the story. I actually noticed changing characterization for both Jonas and the giver. Jonas is not only questioning, he's now repulsed by his community. He's now determined to free himself from the community. And the giver is now realizing his own new sense of courage. And now, for the first time, he's ready to try to bring down this system. Then at the end, the resolution goes on that journey to elsewhere. We don't know if he made it or not, but he did find fulfillment. I have a change in characterization note for Jonas at the end. I did not get another note for the giver because I did not see any change for him at the end of the story. Then lastly, I put down a theme. It's a universal message. And it's what I think is one possibility for a universal message or a theme that the author is trying to give us as readers. Okay, again, this is your narrative planning story map right here, and we're going to get some practice in it today.